I think I probably need to make a video on this open interest pie chart graphic that we can see. This is an old thing here, which you guys might have seen before. Whenever the herd go one way, then they tend to get punished. And what we're now looking at is the open interest. So we've broken it down into dollar, yen, and other. And other is now broken down even further into its component parts. Okay. And now what we want to do, the use case scenario for this, is to see how the open interest is prior to a news event like inflation data or interest rate decision or something like that. And then the condition that we're going to look at is the reduction or expansion of the open interest. The reduction tells us that they took profit or they got stopped out, and an increase is that it just means that the more traders entered the casino. All right, so 20.7, and that's going to change pending that the dollar CAD comes down to take its stop loss cluster. So if you don't have the SLCs, you can kind of look at this pie chart and you can see whether or not the dollar CAD's taken its stop loss cluster, because the dollar CAD is the largest pair in the CAD basket. It greatly outnumbers the euro CAD and the pound CAD, for example. So if that number there gets smaller, it will tell you that the dollar CAD has taken stops. And so once it's taken stops, we can see a reversal. Okay, but it's not a given, it's not guaranteed. And we have to remember we have to take in other things like risk appetite and fundamentals. We've got an issue in the Red Sea right now, which is impacting the price of oil. That's going to impact CAD, and we have to remember that. Okay, we've got to remember there are fundamental things floating around this pie chart. Okay, so basically the use case scenario is that we see expansion of the open interest. They've taken on new positions on that particular currency, or a reduction, and it's most commonly speaking they got stopped out, although there are profitable traders out there that are taking profit, but the large majority are at a loss. Okay, so if we see a reduction, it will tell us stops were taken. All right, and an expansion tells us that more interest has increased, it's taken on new positions. Now we've got a pound to look at tomorrow, and what I'm going to imagine is that this will get larger, and it's like the carrot on the stick, and it'll say come and join, trade the pound, you'll make lots of money. And then of course by the data release tomorrow, once they've got you in and they've got you into that particular trade, they'll pull the rug tomorrow, and that's what they'll do. And then they'll go on to the next thing for the New Zealand dollar interest rate decision. Then you've got the RBA, and then you've got the Swiss National Bank, and then you've got the ECB, and they will just rotate and they'll try and suck you in and then kick you out at a loss. Most commonly speaking, whenever we see a reduction, it's going to be a stop loss as opposed to take profit. So that's how you can use it. That's like a use case scenario, and it can also tell us that the stops were taken as well, which is quite handy because not everyone's got access to the SLCs and not everyone's at home. A lot of you might be out and about driving and you can't see the SLCs if you're at work. So that's how you can use it. Two use case scenarios: the expansion and reduction, and also the fact that stops were taken as well, which is really useful and interesting. So you could, if you wanted to, you could wait for some technical analysis to materialize where you might get like a buy signal on the dollar CAD, and then you could look for a long, knowing that that liquidity has been taken. And then that can be a use case scenario where you want to be really careful, obviously, because there are fundamentals going on, but it could be a good long. You just want to check your technicals. So wait for the liquidity to be probed, wait for some bullish price action to materialize, like a higher low, a higher high, and then once we've made those two conditions, you could look for a long, and then that's how you can use it. So hopefully it's helpful, and yeah, any feedback would be good, and likes and subscribes would be cool as well, and I wish you a good day.